The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Matt Dodson. I am co-CEO with Momentum Events and Momentum Names, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here today for this afternoon's .lawyer and .attorney domain name Smackdown. Before we introduce the panel and get started, I want to give you a little bit of background into why we are here today. So there's a few words about what this is all about. So as many of you know by now, in addition to oldfavorites.com and .org, for example, the people that run the internet have opened it up so that you and I can now buy domain names ending in .nyc or .pizza or .ninja and now .attorney and .lawyer. So this creates some interesting opportunities in the new namespace. So far, several thousands of .lawyer and .attorney names have been registered. Many have been people registering their names, of course, but some have been practice areas or some terms used in legal marketing. So we have brought the finest minds in legal marketing together for the domain name Smackdown. These panelists will each take turns to convince you that their chosen names are the best. And it will be up to you, the audience, to decide who the winner is. So with that being said, let's welcome the panelists. First up, we have Julie Gurney, Director of Marketing and Communications with Benish. Julie, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
Hi, it's great to have you. Next up, Mark Beast, President with Leadership for Lawyers. Hi, Mark.
Hi there.
All right, that's great. Now, Mark, you have one of the largest LinkedIn groups for legal marketing. Do you think that gives you an advantage here?
Absolutely not.
Okay, next up we have Greg Fleischman, who is the Director of Global Marketing with Baker and McKenzie. Greg, you've taken a clinical approach. You're clearly playing to win. What's your strategy to crush your opponents?
I think it's brain power, mostly, that I intend to use to crush everyone. Mostly. No, I'm pretty much kidding. Thanks, everyone. It's really great to be here. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, and lastly, Kevin, you've submitted some of the more, well, how should I put it, eclectic suggestions. How confident do you feel about your choices?
So if you heard that sound, that was me taking the gloves off, so I'm pretty confident.
All right, that's great. And Julie, there's been quite a lot of trash talk prior to this, but you seem to have managed to rise above it all. What's your secret?
You know, I'm very confident in my selections here, and I think I'll prove to the listeners here in a moment that, you know, I'm clearly the winner here, so I'm not, you know, nervous at all.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you to the four of you, and thank you to everybody joining us today. The rules are that each panelist has 1 to 2 minutes to advocate for each name, at which point their co-panelists will have the opportunity to, let's say, offer their opinion. If those of you listening have an opinion, then please make it known using the chat box in the GoToWebinar panel. At the end, there will be a poll, so you will be able to vote for either the best domain name or the person that you think's done the best job advocating for it. So, with that being said, let's kick off. Julie, you're first with DUI.attorney.
Sure. So I had to think a little outside the box here because I work at, as most of you probably do, at a business law firm. We don't handle criminal defense or anything like this. But if you're thinking about it, I'm assuming if somebody is unfortunate enough to receive a DUI, what's the first thing that they have to do the next morning? They probably have to contact an attorney. So I think DUI attorney, whoever is lucky enough to purchase this domain name, will have a very well-visited website.
All right, panelists, what do you think?
So this is Kevin. I would argue that the first thing the person has to do the next day is take some aspirin.
That's true, but after the aspirin and the water or Diet Coke or whatever, they're calling an attorney.
Well, and then I would surmise that this might not be the guy that I would hire, but a DUI attorney sounds like a really fun guy to hang out with on the weekend.
Julie, I think it's a great name, and it's along the same lines of what we've been working on here in Colorado, where I'm from. And so some of my suggestions that didn't quite make it to the top 5 included pot attorney, stoned attorney, and skiing stoned attorney. And I probably should have put that in, but I think you're on the right track. I just encourage you to take it just one more step.
Well, I think it's a great opening gambit there. DUI attorney. I happen to know that that's one of the kind of the highest priced premium domain names that have been reserved for this. So, but it's pretty high up there. I think it's a strong first start, Julie.
I think it's the strongest, but we'll see what the audience thinks.
All right, very good. Moving on. I can click this. We are going to Mark with www.innovation.attorney. What's this one about, Mark?
I thought there were a number of different ways you can approach URLs, and long gone are the opportunities to get one good word or a series of letters on a .com and .net, .org, whatever else. And so here's an opportunity for lawyers to kind of align with a brand attribute. And this is one of the attributes that a lot of IP firms or new business or entrepreneurs or emerging growth businesses would love to have. It could be, creative attorney or innovation attorney or innovative attorney. Just a brand attribute which describes a little bit who you are. Now is your chance to own it in your very own .lawyer top-level domain name.
Okay, Greg, what do you think?
Well, first, I'll say kudos to you, Mark. It's a hot phrase. We talk about it every day. I think, as you explained it, though, one question I have is, what are we really talking about? It's a bit abstract. I feel like I want some context for this. It doesn't really move. It doesn't say let's innovate or innovate now. It's just sort of innovation as a concept. I'm not sure it's going to draw me to therefore take action and click. But I like the word.
Okay, Julie.
Yeah, I agree with Greg. It's a buzzword right now. But if I'm searching for an attorney, I can't imagine that I'm going to search for a qualified attorney in an area that I need representation for by searching the term innovative. So again, DUI attorney is where it's at.
Kevin, I dread to ask.
Well, I'm glad, and Mark, this is the first one, so don't feel like we're all piling on, but I feel a little bit like Simon Cowell, where I'm feeling like innovation.attorney. No offense to any attorneys on the line, is kind of an oxymoron. So.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, it's a little harsh. Now, I think, Mark, actually you've purchased leadership.attorney. I think that's the domain name that you've actually gone ahead and purchased, correct?
That's right. My business name is Leadership for Lawyers. I thought it'd be handy to have leadership.lawyer.
All right, good. Okay, well, innovation.attorney, it's up there. Somebody will snap it up, no doubt. Okay, moving on. Greg, over to you. So goingglobal.lawyer.
Yes, thank you. I kind of have to say I think this is the winner. Couple of major reasons. Number one, it covers almost every business customer in some way that is looking in any way to work on a global basis, whether that's expanding into global markets, whether that is working with supply chains and partners that might be in other regions of the world. It can cover every aspect of business, but it really says, as I believe my firm does, that we can assist in that journey of expanding or working globally. It's got a call to action. There's an active verb, gives you a sense of direction. There's a bit of alliteration going on, right? Going global. I think it's short, easy to read, pretty memorable, and frankly, whether I win today with this or not, I think this would get a lot of clicks to the site.
All right, panel, what do we think?
Greg, I love it. Going global. It's got that motion, that innovation was missing. The going go reminds me of the boingo boingo, and that you see in airports across the country. And all I think of is boingo boingo. They're going to rip me off for $24.95 for 3 hours of internet. So it's one of those associative things that kind of sticks in my mind. But hey, I think you got something there. I'd register that for $49.95.
All right, you realize there are probably people listening to this that are just going online right now and kind of keep talking about possibly. None of these will be left by the time we get off. Julie,
you asked for irreverence.
I should have registered these this morning. Julie, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think I hear what Greg's saying. I see your point, Greg. You have a lot of valid points here, but again, I think we have to think about here, what are going to be the most dire, or, I mean, if we're trying to find the best URL out of all of these, I still think, audience, what are the most, extreme circumstances that you may need an attorney in? And while this one is very good and creative, I still, think mine's the best.
It's hard. Very, very tough audience you are. Very tough audience. Tough panelists. All right, you're playing to win, clearly. All right, great stuff. Well, that's goingglobal.lawyer. Now we have Kevin's first submission. Oh, dear. Zombie apocalypse class action lawyer.
So first, I would just like to preface this with some indisputable facts. FEMA, the Centers for Disease Control, Department of Homeland Security, and U.S. Stratcom, which is the military leadership responsible for the defense of the U.S. homeland, have all worked on and published plans to deal with the inevitable zombie apocalypse. Added to that fact, according to the Population Reference Bureau, there's about 7 billion people alive today, but there have been 110 billion that have ever lived. So doing the math pretty quickly, that's 15 dead people for every one living. Now, last year in Forbes, in the February issue of Forbes magazine, it was reported that the Department of Homeland Security ordered 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition. Just to give you some perspective, during the Iraq War, U.S. forces were using less than 6 million rounds per month. So DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has enough ammo for 20 years. Add to that, the class of ammo, which was mostly hollow points, are banned by the Geneva Convention. So they are planning for something very big that's not a conventional war. Now, U.S. Stratcom's plan is the only one that addresses the post-apocalypse world, and you can go on the website. Con Plan 8888 calls for a 35-day mass strikes campaign to stop the zombie apocalypse. But think about that. That campaign and the havoc caused by a month of zombie rampage will cost trillions of dollars in property damage and tremendous loss of life. So I believe that by securing this .lawyer URL today, we can hopefully force the government to do more, or at the very least, act as a rally point for winning damages post-apocalypse.
You have done your homework.
Seriously.
But
aren't you concerned that this URL has a typo in it, so people are not going to go there?
Okay.
And Kevin, I applaud your homework. Very well done, and that falls squarely in the funny and memorable category, which my list overflows. My only criticism, and it's just a minor one, is I can't spell apocalypse. I never have been able to. And if somebody says, "Oh my gosh, it's a zombie apocalypse," and I know exactly I have to call the zombie apocalypse class action lawyer because I remember seeing it on the billboard, I wouldn't have a clue how to do it.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to rely on the power of SEO.
That's pretty good. Julie, what do you think? Do you think he's got a hope here?
I don't really know what to say to this one, to be honest with you. It's a little, although clearly Kevin has done his homework and the stats are there, it's just a little too out there for me to comment on.
Well, you know what? That's fine. People said that about global warming too. So.
I think, Kevin, is I think you've got an opportunity here to have two bites of the cherry, because this could be, you could read this as a zombie apocalypse class action lawyer, right? So someone that's a lawyer, a class action lawyer that's relating to the zombie apocalypse, or it could be an apocalypse class action lawyer who happens to be a zombie. So if you're looking for an attorney who's a zombie, then this may also be applicable.
It is multifaceted.
Yeah,
we have that going for you.
Playing both sides of the fence.
Yeah,
playing
exactly.
both sides of the fence.
Very good.
You know.
Playing the zombie side of the fence. All right, very good. Let's move on to our next submission. Oh, transportation.lawyer. Wow. Okay, no, hang on a minute. We skipped ahead one. There we go. Transportation.lawyer. Julie, bring us back down to earth.
Okay, so this one was a little bit more realistic, a little bit closer to home here. Here at my firm at Benish, we have a very we have a good transportation and logistics practice group. So this one was a little bit more practical. In fact, it may be something we might be purchasing. Just, you know, when folks are searching for lawyers in the transportation and logistics industry, I think this will come up high in Google rankings, and that's kind of why I chose this one.
Okay, sounds good. Panelists, what do we think?
So this is Greg. Julie, I applaud the effort, really, and I think it's nice and short and simple, and I can probably spell it when I'm typing it into my URL box. But I'm again a little bit lost in terms of context. So, for example, is this where I click when I've been in a car accident? That's also transportation, or a plane accident. Am I negotiating new railroad lines? Am I trying to ship my little dog Fluffy across state lines? I'm just a little confused as to when I'm
supposed to
click on this.
We do it all.
Well, you know, that's a reasonable response, so I say well done.
I guess I looked at it from kind of the, you know, as soon as I saw it, I thought PI, and I thought that you could have a great tagline for transportation.lawyer. You do the driving, we'll do the chasing.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
www.transportationlawyer.com. I was very impressed, and in fact, the whole mechanism for reserving these URLs are so simple that while you guys were criticizing it, I've reserved it. So,
oh, get out of here.
Have you? So anybody who wants transportation.lawyer, see me. We'll work a deal out.
Oh my goodness! All right, Julie, you should have got on that a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other comments about transportation.lawyer?
Practical. It's very practical, folks.
All right, Mark, you're up next with www.damngood.lawyer.
Well, I like making sentences out of URLs. I thought Damn Good Lawyer would be a great memorable law firm name. You know, when you ask lawyers what makes them special and unique, they basically say we're damn good or something to that effect. So Damn Good, you know, there's probably more than one Damn Good, but if you're quick, you can probably get the Earl at Damn Good Lawyer or Damn Good Attorney. It fell in the category of funny and memorable, and I was struggling between Damn Good Lawyer or Toxic Apple Tort Lawyer. Captain America.lawyer, Burning Man.lawyer, you know, maybe some sort of affinity. But it was really coming down to Damn Good.lawyer or I Give Good Lawyer.
I Give Good.lawyer. Love it. Nice. I like your thinking there. Kevin, what do you think about this?
So two thoughts, yeah. So the first one is, as soon as I saw this, and I'm sure that I'm dating myself here, but I started humming in my head the David Lee Roth song "Damn Good" from 1988. So that was my first, right? But my second was, I would be careful about that kind of URL only because of some maybe bar restrictions. I don't know. I don't know if you're overreaching a URL here.
Mr. Zombie Apocalypse, getting practical.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thanks for the reality check there, Kevin.
I'm just trying to keep
what do you think?
Yeah, first of all, I love it. I mean, it's memorable. I wonder if it's memorable for the right reasons, but it's definitely memorable. Plus, my sensitive side, the profanity, you know, really bothers me just a slight bit. Not really. It does smack. I will say this, it does smack of sort of a cheap TV commercial, which maybe that's what you're going for. But I feel like I'm up at 3 in the morning, channel surfing, and I've come up on an ambulance chasing lawyer commercial, and this might be the URL for that. No offense.
Some of whom make a lot of money.
Indeed.
I was talking to a Las Vegas PI law firm, and they said their TV advertising budget alone was $7 million that year.
Wow.
Wow. That's something. So,
That's one damn good lawyer.
Julie, would you advocate any of your attorneys to go ahead and purchase damngood.lawyer? You've got some good lawyers there over at Bennett.
We have some damn good lawyers here.
Right.
No, to be completely honest, my first inclination was to kind of say, well, what the heck is this? But if you think about if you think about the firm Morrison and Forrester and their little campaign with MoFo, I mean, there might be something. They may, you might be onto something with this, Mark. I mean, that's really taken off, and I do think it's kind of catchy and could be cute if used the right way. I don't know what that way is.
Julie allowed for another URL to be decent compared to hers. That's the first time.
How very gracious of you.
Right. I'm just trying to be nice, okay?
Actually, you reminded me, I think somebody had on their initial list like bettercallsaul.lawyer. I think bettercall.lawyer might be a contender up there as well, potentially. Bettercall.lawyer. Anyway. Okay, Greg. You're up next with supplychainmatters.lawyer. What's this one?
Yes. I have to say I'm pretty confident in this one as well. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, supply chain in the world of business, whether it's global or domestic, is an issue on so many fronts and touches every aspect of legal services in some way, right? I mean, you could be dealing with labor issues, trade compliance issues, really hot topic of bribery concerns, right, in different countries, commercial agreements, due diligence in doing deals. It covers so much. It's an issue for so many companies. Play on words, supply chain matters. It matters. We deal with supply chain matters, right? It's so timely with dealing with reputational issues. I think of Apple and the reputational issues they've had with Foxconn. There was recently some Bangladeshi factory fire that hundreds of people were killed, and they sifted through the rubble and found, documents from Walmart and J. Crew. It really impacts their reputations as well. So very timely, a little play on words. I think it's going to get snapped up before this call is over.
That's potentially possible. Panelists, what do we reckon?
Well, I like it. I think, again, you've clearly thought about this one, Greg. So I do appreciate that. I think your little play on words, though, might be a little too. I would just go with supply chain lawyer. I think supply chain matters is going to throw people off, and it's not the best for Google search. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, with all due respect, really, I disagree. If you're a large firm like yours or Greg's, I can actually see a whole series of practice or industry niche-focused URLs, all ending with the word matters, because it has both that action plus that double entendre with legal matters. So, I mean, pick a niche. GMO safety matters, right? .lawyer. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like the matters. I wish I had thought of that, and I'm a little insulted that I didn't. So well played, Greg. Well played.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to go with less is more, but again, just my 2 cents.
All right. Well, I like it, and actually, just a slight digression here. You have the option for all of these URLs: .lawyer or .attorney. I know some of you have gone for .attorney, some of you have gone for .lawyer. Do you have any thoughts about whether which suffix, which TLD is better in these instances?
Well, I just from a stylistic standpoint, at ALM we always try to just go with lawyer, because from my understanding, attorney isn't widely used outside of the United States. But,
that's the same with me, Kevin. Yeah, I went with it for the same reason.
Yeah.
Well, ALM, you have the word lawyer in your name, right?
Yep, that's right.
So it would hard to be AAM.
That's right. That's a different, that's a whole different meeting.
I hate to say this, but if you're trying to brand with one of these clever names, you probably want to get both, just so you don't get confusion. And it's kind of like .com, .org, .net, and go shoot if you can for the other one, just so there's not a confusion or somebody holding you hostage.
There has been some sense, actually, that some of the people that we've spoken to have said that if you are kind of public-facing, so like DUI, for example, if you're public-facing, you might want to go for lawyer because that's more what people are searching for. Whereas if you're perhaps on the defense side of things, you might be more like, or in-house, you might be more likely to go for attorney. Just feels like that might be the way things would break, but it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I know for a fact that there's people more knowledgeable than me about this, but there used to be a difference at some point in the history of the United States. I don't remember what the difference was, but there was a difference between lawyer and attorney. So,
well, we'll research that. Perhaps that's the next webinar. You can expound upon what the difference is between that. All right, let's move on. Kevin, www.my.lawyer or my.lawyer. I don't know whether you're going to my or if you're going some abbreviation there.
So, of Moz.com, Moz is the one of the internet original experts. This website talks about best practices and whatnot, and they have a great publication, 12 Rules for a Great Domain Name, and they all boil down to being unique, easy to type, easy to remember, and as short as possible. So if I had $1 for every time I said to my wife, "Can you call my lawyer?" I'd be rich. So my.lawyer, I think is going to be, a huge, huge hit.
All right, Julie, do you agree?
It's an interesting thought.
Didn't you say shorter? You said shorter was better.
I did. Coming from apocalyptic zombie class action man. No, I don't have a whole lot to criticize here. I think it's a good concept. I'm not sure that it really, it's hard to figure out what exactly it means, and it would be hard to, differentiate, I guess, who's my lawyer versus your lawyer. But I like the idea.
All right, Greg?
Yeah,
Greg?
Yeah, sure. I was going to start with the same thing. I mean, who is the my? Is it my lawyer? Is it your lawyer? Why do I call them? I got a little bit lost in that. The only other thing I would say to help shoot this one down, even though I kind of like it, is I don't know if my really means my or if it's an acronym. I feel a little out of the loop. Yeah, not quite sure where this one goes. Sorry, Kevin.
All right, Mark, what do you think? Well, as Kevin probably knows, this was snatched up by the new owners of Martindale Hubble, trying to relaunch this directory and finding mechanism to find my lawyer, so it's a cheap shot at best. But obviously somebody thinks it's going to work because they snapped that up so quickly. Nicely done.
No, is that you? Sorry,
for those people who don't know me, I'm totally making that up. So I have no idea.
Well, it was interesting. I was going to see whether that was legitimate or not, because my understanding is that this entry, I didn't want to say anything beforehand. This entry should really have an asterisk by it, because my understanding is that two-letter domain names are not available in this space. So my.lawyer, sadly, even though I think it's a work of genius, Kevin, it's probably not going to be registerable because of some various rules and regulations that surround these things. So maybe in the future, but not today.
I see how it goes. You disqualify me in the middle? You've had this for 2 weeks?
I'm not disqualifying you. I think it's still in there. People can still vote for it. I'm just
so much for the unbiased moderator, but whatever.
Right?
Okay.
Whatever. All right, moving on.
I feel like I'm in an Eagle feed.
Julie, over to you for some unwanted advances.
Okay, so once I saw what my competition was leaning towards, I changed what I think was at one point Midwest private equity.attorney to unwantedadvances.attorney. Because again, here we have a call to action going on. So if you
exactly what is the call to action in this one?
it's call your attorney if you've gotten some unwanted advances. So there you go.
And I'm sorry, can I just ask a clarifying question? Is there a Midwest private equity attorney that made you think of this?
No, I'm going to go on the record and say absolutely not on that one. But yeah, here we go. So you men and women at your firms and your companies, if you've had any unwanted attention, unwanted advances, you're going to pick up, or you're going to go to your keyboard and you're going to type in, you're going to go to this URL, and that particular labor firm will be able to help you out. So this is clearly a very it will be a very sought after URL, obviously.
All right, Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, Julie, I don't know. I guess on the one hand, yeah, and I sort of get that we're probably talking about harassment type issues. Well done for thinking of that. On the other hand, I'm also sort of thinking, is this a lawyer I'm going to go after those paycheck lenders with their high interest rates? They give me the advance on the money. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm just a little lost for context. Sorry.
Well, maybe we do both. I don't. Hey, this is sort of on the fly, guys. So.
Mark, what do you think? Any comments on this one?
Well, two comments. First is the call to action that we've been focusing on. It could be slightly confusing to me exactly what that call to action is. And two, under advice of counsel, I can't comment anymore on this URL.
Kevin, do you have anything more to add?
Yeah, well, unwantedadvances.com is not an attorney site.
Yes, absolutely. So I was thinking, looking at this, I was thinking that this might be a site for like a really creepy, lecherous attorney who actually wanted to kind of demonstrate the fact that he was going to assault you if you actually kind of used his services rather than actually represent you. So I don't know. We may have a better option with that as a meaning to it. I'm not sure. All right, let's move on to the next one. Mark, you're up next again with www.phoenixfixyourticket.lawyer. What's this all about?
Well, this is kind of a mix of the ability to localize a URL, and there's a lot of legal services that are locally based, city-based, town-based. Lawyers, a lot of sole practitioners, small firms, they just serve a small geographic location. DUI, there's not a national practice for DUI. It's almost all local. Skiing stone is also pretty much a local issue. So we'll leave statewide issue down to two. And then it mixes that locality with the ability to fix a problem, right? So fixing one's parking ticket or speeding tickets in one case is what is thought here. So I kind of like the flow of Phoenix and Fix. So phoenixfixyourticket.lawyer. You can know exactly who and where you are.
Well thought out. Greg.
Yeah, no, I like this one, Mark. I would say a couple of things. It's going to be hard when I'm sitting there with a ticket to remember the order of the words. Where does the Phoenix go? Am I in Phoenix? What do I do if I'm in Boston? So I thought, but I did like fix your ticket and just thought that should take you to a page where you could then select your city. That's number one. Number two, a little bit concerned, although I know this happens, with the implication of guaranteeing a result. You know how much we love to do that in law. Fixing your ticket, maybe I can, maybe not. If I don't, I've advertised as such, maybe there's a liability there. Of course, we do it all the time, but I just a little bit of word of caution there.
Thank you. Do you have offices in Chicago? Because I have a ticket.
Yeah, well, if you go to the right URL, but figure out where you put the Chicago, and it's all fine.
There you go.
Okay, Julie, any comments on this one?
No, I kind of agree with Greg. I mean, I think the concept behind this is sound. I understand that, but I do, now that we're sort of getting into it, I do think the concept of just fix your ticket and then selecting your city might have been a better route to go. But good idea.
All right. Then maybe actually there are some of these suffixes that are actually city-based. So you can have .nyc, you can have .berlin, .london, I think .San Francisco as well. So potentially you can have fixyourticket.phoenix, fixyourticket.nyc. So maybe someone's going to snap all of those up. Moving on, let's go for Greg with onthemove.lawyer.
Yeah, no, thanks. Again, totally, lack of humility here. I think it's a really strong entry. Couple of things about this that follow some of the themes of this conversation is it's very active and dynamic. It obviously implies movement. There's a couple of different meanings here which are intended. One is just a big topic in the business world of mobility, right, and related to, labor law here. And even interesting topic lately is around these sort of stealth expats, right? Not people who are on official assignment, but doing business around the world for periods of time and needing to get around the legal issues there. I just think dealing with talent that's on the move, moving it to where it's needed. Another little implication of movers and shakers. I just thought it was attractive, and as I said before, I'm pretty sure this will be snapped up by the time I'm done talking.
Kevin, what do you think? Do you agree?
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh, Kevin, your connection is terrible, I think.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, it is much. Brilliant.
Okay, good. Okay. I stuck my head back out the window, so now we're good. I don't know if I agree with this. To me, on the move, I'm kind of lost. Who's moving? You're moving, so great. That's what I'm. That's where all my money's going because you're on the move. I like the idea behind the action word and the fact that it is a short URL, but I don't know. I don't know where that would. I don't know what I would think if I saw that on a Google search.
All right, Mark, what do you think?
I just want to say, Kevin, I'm glad that you weren't in the room when groups like Flickr were talking about their URLs and what to name their company. I think it's great. It's memorable. It shows action. Don't know exactly what that means, but that's okay. There's lots of URLs that I don't really know exactly what it means. So I think it's interesting. I might just take that one.
All right. Julie, do you have any comments before we move to the next one?
So my phone faded out for a minute, so I couldn't really hear Greg's explanation of this URL. So based on not having heard it, here's what I would think it was, and I thought it was actually brilliant when I first saw it. And so I'm thinking a publishing company, maybe an ALM or something like that, would purchase a URL like this to show, where all the attorneys at big firms are moving and going and taking new roles and things like that. So, Greg, is that at all what you had in mind?
Julie, since you said it and you like it, that's exactly what I meant.
Okay, all right, there you go.
You're very, very smart. You're very smart.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what?
Sorry, I cut out for a minute there.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I actually like Julie's explanation better.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Greg, if you should really benefit from that.
No, I think I was cutting out. When I was explaining it, I must have been cutting in and out. It's exactly what Julie said.
All right. I don't think there's a person on this call that's going to buy that for a minute, but you stick with that story. You stick with that story. All right. I think we only have a few more to go. And I think this is actually the last one. Kevin, we're going to end with you. Nailgunaccidents.lawyer.
So this one goes to a point that Mark made earlier that there is just a ton of niche practices that would benefit from these URLs. So nailgunaccidents.lawyer, I think, was a great one. One of the largest verdicts last year was for a nail gun accident that we have in our small firm verdict search database. And so, because my job is research, I did a little more research on this. So the first nail gun was created in 1950, and it was used to nail floors down. Today, there are 5 categories and hundreds of different nail gun manufacturers. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health says the number of nail gun accidents has tripled since 1991. At the same time, in September of 1991 was the first episode of Home Improvement with Tim Allen. I don't know if there's a correlation. We need to do a little more research, but it very well could be. And according to the CDC, 42,000 people every year in the United States go to the emergency room because of a nail gun accident. So not only do I think that this is a simple, easy to remember, compelling URL, but there's actually a big market for this kind of litigation.
Okay. Mark, do you agree? Absolutely. Anybody who's used the nail gun knows that there's a lawsuit in the wings. And I think you've nailed it. I think it's a sharp URL.
Oh,
and,
I like it. I like what you're doing with this.
Well done. And there's a million of these, and it just takes some time to think about that niche that you're trying to go after, and make that niche website for it. And all joking aside, I think mid and large size law firms are going to be competing on a niche basis, and gone are the days of one large law firm website and everything goes underneath it. Instead, I think firms are going to be platforms for smaller and mid-sized niche practices where people are specializing and trying to develop a name within that specialization. And I whether it's this or other niche type URLs, firms are going to follow this type of niche marketing and develop very focused need-based websites.
Greg.
Yeah, no, I have to say I really like this one, Kevin. And you know, if you weren't able to spout off all your statistical mumbo jumbo, I was ready to say, is it a big enough pool of clients to get an ROI on the cost of that URL? But obviously, if you've taken the wind out of those sails, a solid fourth place, I think, today. Well done.
And Julie, let's wrap up with you. Do you have any comments on this particular one?
No, I mean, I sort of agree with what Greg just said. I really wasn't aware of how prevalent nail gun accidents were. But now that I am, I do think that these, you know, niche URLs will come in handy. So good job, Kevin.
All right, great. So thank you very much for all of your submissions, as well as for your advocacy and your arguments for both for and against your domain names. Okay, so this is the bit which I've kind of cobbled together a little bit with some sticks and some sticky tape, where I'm going to ask the audience to vote for their preferred domain name. The GoToWebinar system doesn't enable me to give one poll with all of the names on it, so I've had to split it up into 3 polls. Whoops, hang on a minute, that's not what I meant to show. Let's come back here. All right, so I'm going to launch poll number 1, and if you want to vote for one of these names, you will be able to do that using the poll in progress panel. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to vote for that, and then I'm going to move on to the next poll, which will have the next set of lawyers. So panelists, you can feel free to advocate for the names that you want, but don't forget you're not seeing all of these options right now. You're just seeing the first 5 because I only had 5 spaces in the poll. It wouldn't give me 10 or 12. Any final words?
No, I think it's clear. I think it's very clear here, especially on this panel, as to which one would be the most, I think DUI attorney guys. There you go. I mean, this is what people are going to be needing, this URL. I'm telling you, if someone hasn't bought this already, they're going to. So maybe not our firms, but there are attorneys out there who will want it.
It's certainly winning on this poll. I'm going to close this poll now, and I'm going to open the next poll, which is the next set of names. So please do feel free to make your preferences spelt with these names, which you should see on your screen as well. Oh, I see my.lawyer is getting some traction there. Damn good lawyer is doing fairly well too.
I've just noticed that panelists can't vote. I'd like to protest that, please.
All right, another couple of minutes, a couple of seconds for this before I open the third poll. All right. Okay, I'm going to close this poll and I'm going to open the last poll, which I think just has a couple of names in it. Yeah, just 2 names in it. So that's going to be launched. So if these are the ones that you feel is the best, then you should vote for those. All right. Another couple of minutes. All right. So the votes are in. And it looks like DUI.attorney is the winner. The very first one, Julie, congratulations.
Oh,
I think
Julie.
it was a solid choice. I think you did a great job of advocating for it. And you got more than 60% of the votes for DUI.attorney. So congratulations to you. If I had a trophy, I could pass it down the phone lines. I would be bestowing it upon you right now. Any gracious words of acceptance?
I want to thank all the panelists. I'd like to thank my mother. I'd like to thank the Academy. And that's really it.
I'm going to let you finish, but...
Well, with that, I think I want to thank everybody on the call for all of the hard work that's gone into both preparing and for performing on today's webinar. It's a fascinating topic. It was great to get a little insight into the way your minds work. Some of you more sensible than others, some of you more eclectic than others, and I think it's an interesting thought experiment, of course, to kind of see, which one of these are going to, which of these names are going to be snapped up. There are websites actually that track some of the interesting names that do get registered. You can Google those if you want to find out, and I can send them over to everybody on this call if you want to review those later. With that being said, it's my great pleasure to thank you all for attending today, and thank Kevin. You'd like to say goodbye, Kevin?
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Greg?
Yeah, thanks, everyone. That was a lot of fun playing. And Julie, I guess if you just keep saying it time and time again, you win. That's how it works. So well done.
Whatever
well
it
done.
takes. Whatever it takes.
Mark, do you want to say goodbye?
Congratulations, Julie. Well done. A lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. And Julie, our winner, any final words?
No, thanks, Momentum, and thanks to everyone who listened.
All right, wonderful. Now, there is actually a recording of this webinar, which I will attach to the email that will go around tomorrow to everybody on this call so that you can review this in perpetuity and at your leisure. With that, my name is Matt Godson, co-CEO of Momentum Names and Momentum Events. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Goodbye.